Welcome back to the Slasher Siblings podcast. I'm your co-host Cicely.
I'm your host Hayden.
And today we're talking about The Lodge. It came out in 2019. It's rated R. It's an hour and 48 minutes. And it got a 6 out of 10 on IMDb. A soon-to-be stepmom is snowed in with her fiancé's 2 children at a remote holiday village. Just as relations begin to thaw between the trio, some strange and frightening events take place.
Okay, so to start off, I think that 6 out of 10 is a little too low.
Yeah, I thought that was a little low.
I don't think it was all that bad of a movie. It wasn't fantastic or anything. It definitely left me with, questions. It definitely didn't answer all the questions, but definitely wasn't a 6 out of 10, that's for sure. Now, I wanted to look up where I know all these people from, and I forgot to. I know that the son is from It.
Yeah, he's in It.
I know the mom from somewhere, too. I just can't remember what she's from.
Which mom? The real mom?
The real mom, not Grace.
Clueless.
Was that her?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah.
She didn't look...
I thought you were joking.
No, I just didn't recognize her.
Yeah, that's her.
Okay. And I recognized the dad from something, but I can't remember what I know him from.
I don't know him or Grace.
I didn't know Grace, but I knew him from something. I just can't remember what it was at the moment.
I didn't recognize him, so...
I recognize him from something, but I just can't remember.
IDK.
But I did want to talk about some stuff. Do you have stuff you want to talk about the movie?
I mean, you can go ahead. Get us started.
I kind of like that eerie opening.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of leaves you asking a bunch of questions, like what's with the whole religious aspect of the movie and stuff. Like right in that beginning, it just showed like the Mary picture and all this other religious stuff right in the beginning. It was kind of just like a eerie opening just to start off the weird kind of movie. The movie's definitely weird, to say the least.
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
Definitely a little weird. But, good weird.
Yeah, and I like that they added that kind of little fight in the car between the siblings. It's like common sibling stuff. Like, they were playing with the doll, and he rips the arm off. She's like, you're lucky it went back on. It's just like...
We've definitely experienced that.
Yeah, that's like the most normal relationship between 2 siblings that any movie has ever had. Because it's always like, you never see an in-between with siblings. It's always like they really, really hate each other or they get along really well.
Yeah,
it's
period.
almost never either one. It's usually like, I accidentally broke your toy and I didn't scream and cry about it. I tried it and then,
Yeah, except you ripped my Jasmine doll apart.
That was you.
That was you.
I don't remember.
It was you.
Anyway. Every other movie makes it seem like the siblings absolutely love each other or they absolutely hate each other, and it's almost never one way.
Yeah, there's no happy medium.
Yeah, and right in the beginning there, it left me with a question right away, was who was she?
Grace?
Like, they kept saying she.
Oh, yes.
So it was like revolving around this of she. Like, they didn't speak her name kind of thing. And then they finally said Grace, and it was like, well, who's Grace kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was my next question. Because it doesn't really explain, what happened between the parents, right?
Just that I feel like maybe the dad moved on quicker than the mom did, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. But it made me wonder if, he cheated on her with Grace, or... I don't know what... It obviously doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
That's one of the questions that it leaves you with at the end, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
That suicide scene, though, was so
intense.
quick. That was intense.
She was literally just sitting there drinking wine, and then you watch her reach down the bag, and you're like, oh, what is she doing? Pulls out a gun, just shoots herself. When I saw that for the first time, I had to pause the movie and just sit there for a second.
I rewinded it, because I honestly had no idea what happened.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She was acting completely normal.
Upset and depressed, but normal.
But just doing, arranging her stuff, organizing, and then poured a glass of wine. Bam.
It was just so quick and unexpected that I rewinded it just to watch it again. What the hell just happened?
Yeah.
At first, the first time I saw it, I didn't even realize that she did it to herself. I thought maybe someone broke in and shot her or something.
Yeah.
Because it was so quick. It was just she pulled it out and immediately shot herself. It was
intense.
Way too unexpected.
But you could kind of tell something like that was going to happen when he said he wants to finalize the divorce, and she goes, okay, and walks away.
Yeah, and she slams the door.
Yep.
That was...
So you should have saw that coming. I don't know.
Probably.
Right?
I mean, it was totally his fault.
I mean,
he
his actions led
Yeah.
to her doing that, I think, but the kids definitely see it as his fault.
Oh yeah, for
For
sure.
sure.
Here on the Slasher Siblings podcast, we do care about people that are suicidal, so
We care about mental health.
we care about mental health here.
Period.
So
I just
you know,
felt bad. Plus, I love her. I just love her. So I was like,
yeah, that's true too. But
I don't like watching that.
that was incredibly unexpected.
Yeah, it was just fast. It was very fast.
Mm-hmm. I also think that the dolls are really strange.
The dolls are freaky.
They're so weird. Like they're
Dolls
all.
are just freaky in general.
I didn't have very many fear facts, so I'll just say one now. There weren't too many that I could find about this movie, but the dolls are like foreshadowing what happens, I guess, throughout the movie.
In the dollhouse,
Mm-hmm.
they foreshadow what happens, and I'm pretty sure
There was a gun on the table for one thing.
she has a doll for everybody.
Yeah.
That's fucking freaky.
Yeah, that's
when you
kinda-
have kids and they start making dolls that look like me, no. I'm done.
I just think it was like strange that they're like the one doll was hanging himself, and then later in the movie he hung himself, and then like they're all laying on the couch and the floor later, and then in the movie they're all laying in the on the couch and the floor. Like it was strange.
It's very strange. Yeah.
And the fear fact is that it kind of foreshadowed the movie a little bit too.
And the dad, did you notice the dad checked before, like this is like later in the movie, but when it was just Grace and the kids, and he couldn't get a hold of them, and he checked like in the dollhouse.
Yeah.
He saw that they were all like laying there.
Yeah.
So then he left and went up there. So does he know it foreshadows that?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a good question. This part doesn't really change for me throughout the entire movie, but I feel bad for the daughter.
Yeah.
Even after seeing the ending, obviously we're just reading down like as if we don't know the ending yet, but even after seeing the ending, I still don't stop feeling bad for the daughter. Like the whole movie, I just feel bad for her. Like
she took it really hard.
Especially the scene where she's crying on the bed. Like
that was rough.
That was rough, yeah. She definitely had it rough.
And then her brother came in and slept on the floor. I thought that was cute.
Yeah. I kind of understand why the son's pissed off, about Grace and him losing his mother. I understand why he's angry. Obviously, he takes it a little too far, as we find out later in the movie, but it was still, like, I understand, like, why he's so angry. Like, he blames his dad for causing his mother's suicide, and then all of a sudden he's supposed to accept this new woman.
Which is pretty quick.
It was pretty quick. It was
only like 6 months later.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. It's not that long, no.
Yeah.
And then there's the cult video, which is super weird.
Oh yeah, and they found that.
Yeah.
Imagine finding that as a kid.
Well, first let's unpack the video itself. Like Grace just videotaping all these dead people covered their face up after killing themselves and stuff, and she's the only one to live. Like, it kind of makes it seem like she killed them rather than they just killed themselves. And then the fact that they did find it is another weird part of it. Like, why is that on your computer that the kids have easy access to?
Yeah, like they found that really easily.
Yeah, that's almost like letting your kid have the password to your phone and then getting mad at them for ordering a bunch of stuff off Amazon. I get it, they shouldn't be ordering stuff off Amazon, but you let them on your phone, so that's kind of your fault. Or ordering stuff from anywhere.
Do that.
Just don't give them your phone password. Don't give them your computer password that has murder videos on it. Like, that was kind of silly. Also another fault of the father. And at this point, Grace is really strange. She's just so weird. And
I mean, she's been through some shit.
She has, she's just acting so weird. Even on the pills, like, she was sleepwalking and whatnot around the house and, like, with the gun. And it was really weird that...
I think the pills were keeping her sane.
A little bit, but she was still kind of going crazy.
Yeah, I know.
It was strange. There was something really wrong with her. And I think that the sex on the first night in the cabin was kind of not cool.
Did they hear them through the walls?
Probably.
I thought
they could hear him laughing at the very least.
Yeah, and when they were laying there, I was like, oh, they totally just heard that.
Like, that's so weird. You expect them to get used to this woman that they don't like, and that you're just trying to get them to have, like, this relationship, and then that's the first thing you do on the first night. That's kind
banger.
And they can hear it. Like, that's so weird.
That's awful.
That's weird. It's not cool.
Totally not cool.
And then there's the fishing hole scene.
That was rough.
Yeah, so
I would die.
Grace is wearing their mom's hat.
Yeah, she took that shit off real quick. She should have.
Yeah, she should have.
I respect her for that. She ripped that shit off.
Yeah, that, and then the daughter ripping it out of her hand. Like, I get it. I understand why they're angry, but she didn't know.
Yeah.
So they could have cut her a little bit of slack.
It's okay. I mean,
I understand why they're upset about it, but, like, to be an asshole about it was kind of too far. She didn't know.
Even the doll had a little red hat on in that scene.
Yeah, it did.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of a cool addition. I wonder if she, like, already had that hat made.
I don't know. I was wondering the same thing. Like,
where did this hat come from?
Is it really, like, her mom's wardrobe?
I don't know. But obviously Grace is trying at this point. She's trying to show that she cares about the kids at the very least.
Yeah.
And when she pushes the doll into the fishing hole, she, like, tells her, no, get back, I'll do it. So, shows she at least cares a little bit.
Yeah.
Or at least cares about the dad enough to care about his kids. And she ends up falling in.
Mm-hmm. And she got the doll.
Which I'm actually surprised that Grace was even worried about it the way she was acting.
Yeah.
But she did yell for the dad, and they come running over.
They all were helping.
Yeah,
so... Were helping, so... I think that's when they first started to, like...
But it did seem like the girl was more worried about the doll rather than Grace. Which, I
get it.
Yeah, I get it, but, like, the person was dying. Like, she had about 4 seconds before she, like, froze to death and sunk, so...
I don't think she was worried about that, though.
I don't think she was worried about it either. Okay, something I find weird is the dad leaving them with what is basically a total stranger.
Yeah.
She's basically a complete stranger.
Yeah.
It's not like they've known each other for years. Like, they've hated her for the last however long that you've been together. And then they have not wanted to meet her for the last 6 months.
And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to shove you all in a little cabin and you're going to get along.
And this is like the second or third day they're up there. Mm-hmm. That's just so weird. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't leave my kids alone with someone that they've actively said that they barely know and that they actively said that they hated. Mm-hmm. I guess that's not cool. Not cool at all.
Shouldn't put them in those uncomfortable situations.
If it was somebody like they grew up with, okay. Even if, like, let's say, I don't know, like one of my kids hated you, just for example purposes, right?
First of all,
you grew up with...
ground I walk on.
Yeah, exactly. But they grew up with you.
Yeah.
They grew up with you, so obviously they know you. And yeah, maybe they hate you, but like...
doubt it.
Get over it. No, I doubt it. But it's still the fact that, like, get over it. You'll be fine.
Yeah. You've known this person forever.
You've known them for your entire life, literally. So it's not like you've met them yesterday. Because they basically met this chick yesterday.
Yeah.
Because they weren't supposed to be around Grace.
I would not do it. I'd be like, Dad, nope.
Nope, thanks. Take us with you. We'll go to work with you.
Put me to work.
And then this is the point where I said it was not okay. Was where she started to seem really strange. It was before all the stuff disappeared, and it was when she was like walking throughout the house and she can hear her dad's voice and all that other, like, that was just so weird. It, like, obviously he was trying to make her seem like she was having a psychotic break, which I guess she was, but like it was just creepy the way it was happening.
Oh yeah, it was really creepy.
And then there was the dream of the ice, where she was stuck under the ice and being pulled down by her dad. Like, that's
weird.
That was weird. That was a strange scene. I did not
like that.
Yeah, it was definitely something like that I would not want to have happen to me. Dreaming that I'm stuck underneath ice. Like, that's terrifying.
That's scary.
Yeah.
I'd be tripping too.
This is the scene that the stuff went missing.
Okay.
It was incredibly weird, making it seem like it was a poltergeist at this point.
Yeah.
And we're pretending like we don't know the ending right now, so it seems like it was a spirit of some sort taking their shit and throwing it outside or something, or shutting off the doing stuff to them, right? Well, Grace is also getting extremely defensive for no reason. Like, she has no proof that it was one of the kids.
Yeah.
Even though it ended up being them, it was just weird that she was just, like, accusing the kids.
Immediately,
yeah. It was like, there could be something going on in this house. It's not like it was immediately the child doing it. It was hard to explain, like, how he could have gotten all that stuff out without you knowing. You were just sleeping right there. Later we found out how that happened, but what made you think that it was the kids that did it? And then she never apologized for it either. I thought that was weird.
She was losing her bonkers, though. Of course she wasn't going to apologize.
Yeah, but like, oh, sorry, I immediately thought it was you. I have no proof, but you could have at least just said sorry or something. I thought that was kind of weird, even though later we find out that there was definitely a dude in that little cabin when she went walking.
Oh, yeah.
She went in, like, the blanket and everything. There was definitely totally a dude in that little cross cabin thing.
Yeah. I think so too.
I saw him in there.
I thought the same thing.
I just thought it was weird that she's like kicking on the door, pounding on the door, and he's not answering. There was totally a dude in there. But I also thought that the obituary scene was weird.
That was weird.
Like, they made that like a long time ago.
Yeah.
First of all, like months ago, after finding out the ending of the movie, but like, let's just pretend we don't know the ending at this moment. And we just see this obituary of the two kids and Grace just randomly sitting on the table. And the kids are freaking out. And you just see the kids praying and stuff. And you ask, like, what's going on? They show you this obituary of yourself.
Yeah.
From, like, 13 days prior. Because it was, like, January 9th. And they supposedly died in, like, around Christmas or something. Like, that was just so strange. And later, when you find out the ending, like, they premeditated that.
Yeah.
Like, they made that so long ago. And it was like a full obituary. It wasn't just like...
Like, they really thought of that.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Kind of freaky.
Okay, the Aiden hanging himself scene.
That was nuts.
Okay, we don't know the ending.
Okay.
That was entirely convincing. Like, it convinced me that they were already dead.
Yeah. Like,
for a good... another probably 30 minutes of the movie, I thought that they were actually dead.
Yeah.
Until...
like, oh, okay, they died.
I wholeheartedly believed it until it was the moment, like, I forget what moment it was. We'll get to there, I think. But, like, I wholeheartedly believed that they were dead after him hanging himself. And now knowing the ending, that's so weird. Like, number one, how did a little kid think of that and not hang himself, like, for real? Yeah. It's just so weird. This kid's a sociopath.
That's what I was gonna say. They're little masterminds, I guess.
The sister was just like, going along with it.
Yeah, going with it.
Okay, now the stuff being in the basement scene.
Yes.
This is where I started to think, wait a minute, maybe they're not dead.
Yeah.
That was weird because we spend this whole movie thinking that maybe something took it and did something with it. I was like, okay, maybe whatever took that stuff, like the spirit or whatever, put it in the basement, and the kids just happened to stumble upon it.
That's kind of what it looked like, though.
It kind of looked like that until, like, they just walked in and started grabbing stuff.
Yeah.
So either they found it a couple days ago and didn't tell Grace, or
they put it there.
Couldn't have been anything else. And the fact that they didn't die, after finding out that they didn't die, it was kind of like, it was just like, what the hell just happened for the last hour? Yeah. Like, what?
It just is confusing.
What is wrong with you? What is the matter up in your brain that you thought of this at however old he was, like 10 or something, whatever? What the hell? I would have punched him right in the nose. Now it's the kneeling scene. I thought was really strange. That had to hurt like hell.
Oh my god.
And then, like,
they looked out the window at her.
Yeah, and like she had to have been like beaten on her face with something because she started bleeding after that. But like her kneeling on that wood.
Oh my god.
Oh, I couldn't imagine the pain that would have been. That was awful. I know. That was kind of weird too.
I could feel the pain.
I know.
While watching that,
like you could hear her skin like
yeah
burning off. Like ugh. Here's another question it left me with. Why are the kids scared? So you kind of have a hint that they're doing something.
Yeah.
But like when the kids are up in the attic, why are they acting so scared of Grace? Because like she didn't do anything to them yet.
I think it's the way she's reacting.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they thought that she was really angry and gonna hurt them or something. Yeah. But I was just like, why are the kids acting so scared? This was like their whole master plan. Yeah. And they're acting like they're terrified or something.
Yeah, I think they didn't expect her to react so
badly.
Yeah.
And then
So they're like, "Oh, shit."
she'd be fine after, like, oh, we made it up, it was pretend.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know why you do that in the first place or take it to that extent.
Yeah.
Like, that
Too
was
much.
too much. And then the scene where she shot the dad,
Oh,
I
that
thought
was-
the dad was getting through to her. I also thought it was kind of stupid that the dad was like grabbing her hands that was holding the gun and like kept it aiming at his face.
Yeah.
Like, I would have pushed that out of the way while I had my hands on it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have just had it aiming towards my head.
Just like awful. Like their mom shot herself in the head. Grace had the gun up to her head, didn't shoot herself, and then their dad got shot.
He kind of shot himself in that way too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
In a way. It's just so weird. And I also thought it was weird that he kept it aiming at his head too, but like,
Yeah.
I was not expecting her to shoot the dad.
No.
I thought the dad was getting through to her or something, or gonna calm her down.
The first time I watched that, I was just speechless.
Yeah, there were a couple moments in this movie that left me just like,
Especially
what the fuck?
The first suicides.
Yeah, like, what the hell?
That was intense.
Weird.
They just showed everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
And then there's the creepy ending I have written here.
Yeah.
That was so pulling the dead body of the dad up to the dinner table, putting him in the chair, and
yeah.
that was so creepy. And her sitting beside the gun, and no,
Like
that
the
freaks me out.
dollhouse is like coming to life, sorta.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that was
Yeah.
weird. That was so weird. And they're just sitting around the table. Grace is trying to act like they're having like this normal family dinner with a dead body,
Yeah.
and she just starts singing that weird song.
Yeah.
Like, that was strange.
What about her putting the dead dog in the bed?
Oh yeah,
That was rough.
that was all of my things. What do you want to talk about? We can talk about the dead dog on the bed first.
Yeah. That dog froze to death outside.
I know,
And
and
she
like,
carried it in and put it in its bed.
I mean, that's something you would do.
I mean, yeah, but
You would carry the dog inside and put it in the bed too.
but I would not let it sit
you
there
would, yeah,
and
yeah.
defrost, and like you gotta do something with that.
But the tongue of the dog was black, and like its pupils were.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
its
really
eyes were
like
black?
seeing that shot.
Yeah, that was kind of freaky. But like,
when it popped up, I was like, ah,
that
no,
kind of gave
Brady.
the dad the idea of like what was
the fuck's
happening.
going on?
Yeah,
because when he walked in and looked at that, he was like, all right, something's going down.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. It was weird.
Definitely.
What else you want to talk about?
This movie's just very intense,
Yeah,
and I think it's good though. I like it,
I like it
but
too.
it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely one that makes you.
You gotta pause it. Like there's many
You gotta pause
places
it and
you have to
rewind it a
pause.
couple times.
Yeah.
There was at least 3 times in the movie I rewinded it.
Yep.
But it was definitely a movie that leaves you with like more questions than answers.
Yeah. Like there's so many questions.
Like, did this actually happen?
Yeah.
Number 1.
Was this like all the dollhouse? Something
That-
happening?
Where did Grace come from?
Yeah, what the fuck?
What happened between the parents that they were getting a divorce?
Yeah.
Why did he think it was appropriate to leave your kids with a weirdo?
Yeah.
Why did he start dating Grace?
There's so many things.
There's so many things.
Like, I think she escaped whatever cult she was in.
Yeah.
I think
She was
that's
the
why.
only survivor and stuff, but like, how do we know
How do we know
that
what she
she
did?
wasn't the
Yeah.
one that actually killed them
Yeah.
instead of them killing themselves?
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Either way, she's fucked up.
Yeah,
That's all I know.
for sure.
She's got some baggage. I think the kids had it like really rough throughout the whole
They
movie.
definitely did. I think that is
Which kind of like explains why they're
that's
so
a big
fucked
factor in why they
Yeah.
acted that way.
Up. Yeah,
They took it a little too far, for
they
sure.
did. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I mean, I'm not in your shoes, so I can't really.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I know that the daughter just took it. I think the daughter took it so hard, and then the
She was
son
just like-
having to watch
Yeah.
that fucked him up so much.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it seems like they were more dependent on the mom. And
Oh,
not
for sure.
The dad.
Because I feel like they had something against the father. Like, the father did something to the
Mhm.
mom to make them get a divorce,
Yeah.
and they were just pissed off about it, like taking the mom's side. And I feel like they're also blaming him for the suicide, which
killing herself,
which is fair enough. He had a big part in it too, and he kind of just dropped the news that they were getting married onto her pretty just like nonchalantly.
Casually, yeah. Like, hey, we need to finish this divorce thing. I'm getting married. Like, that's something happened that was quick.
That was very quick, number one. Number two, that was just an awful way to tell her.
Yeah.
There's so many other ways I could think to tell her that kind of thing. Or at least, like...
nicer, easier.
At the very least, he could have, like, told her step by step. Like, 1 month he could have been like, hey, can we finalize this divorce?
Yeah.
Because she obviously knew that they were dating.
Yeah.
Him and Grace. Because she kept saying, is she here and stuff like that. But it could have been, like, a couple months later you said, like... oh, we're getting married. And why did you pick a date and all that stuff when you're not even divorced yet? Like, you went through all this stuff, you know, asking her to marry you and picking the date and all this other stuff, and you're not even finally divorced yet.
Yeah, that's...
like, you know that you can't get married until you get divorced.
Yeah.
You can't. So...
why don't you finish that first?
yeah.
Take care of that business.
Because that's... probably expensive too. I get that he must have a lot of money, but like, chill out,
take a chill pill,
and do one thing first.
Chill pill.
I just thought that was understandable that they were, you know, pissed off and kind of screwed up from it, but like,
yeah,
he wasn't a very good dude in this movie.
No, he didn't look good. Like, the things he didn't make him look like a good person. So
it was kind of understandable that the kids were a little screwed up from it.
Yeah.
Even if they did take it a little too far.
Yeah. But he didn't give them much time to, like, heal
or come to terms with the fact that he was...
or understand. I mean, they're young.
Yeah.
They probably don't even understand what the fuck just happened or, like, why she did it. They just know she's gone and they're blaming their dad. So. Exactly.
Okay, so I have a couple fear facts here. One was that the cult leader was Grace's real life dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So whatever the actor's name is, Riley something, her real life dad was the cult leader.
Oh, interesting.
Which is very interesting, yeah. And it's kind of like sets up like that father-daughter thing that was already in the movie, so it's kind of cool.
Kind of cool.
The cult was actually based on the real life Heaven's Gate cult, that 39 members all killed themselves and then covered themselves up with that like blanket thing.
Was that the one with the dude, like an old dude was like the cult leader and like convinced them all to kill themselves?
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking insane?
They all like drank the Kool-Aid. That's why it's like, that's why the thing is drink the Kool-Aid, but they all drank Kool-Aid with like rat poison or something in it, and then they laid on the beds or whatever and then covered themselves up from like their head down to their waist, like in the movie, and, you know, killed themselves.
Died. That's
so that
insane.
was like an actual thing that happened in real life.
I remember watching videos about it.
Yeah, we were.
Which I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole, but
I don't know.
I was like, this is freaky. Okay.
So the dog's name Grady.
Yeah.
Is
from The Shining.
From The Shining.
I fucking knew it.
Shining's caretaker. Yeah.
I fucking knew it. As soon as they said Grady,
I thought of The Shining.
Yep. I was like, it's gotta be from that. Because why else would it be Grady?
I don't know. Yeah. That's a good question.
I fucking knew. As soon as you brought that up, I was like, I knew what you were going to say. I already fucking knew. Cool.
And that was all the fear facts I had today because there weren't too many for this movie.
No.
Okay, so just like looking at a couple of the other ones that I didn't write down because there was only like 5 or so. The movies that Grace and the children were watching at the lodge were The Thing from 1982, which we'll have to do that on this on the podcast. And Jack Frost from 1998.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, we watched that a long time ago. That's not a horror movie, so.
It's just kind of bad.
Yeah. And both featuring snowy settings, kind of like the lodge is. There weren't too many goofs that I could find in this movie, but there was one when Richard, the dad, was trying to show Grace how to shoot a gun. Yeah. Well, she kept switching from like each time the camera cut away, she would switch from like holding it with 2 hands to 1 hand back to 2 hands. Like. Oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, so like. It would show her shooting with 1 hand, and then the camera would pan around, and she'd be holding it with both hands. And then it would turn again, she'd be shooting with 1 hand. I noticed it, but I didn't really think anything of it. But it was technically a goof, so.
I thought it was kind of weird that he was like, all right, I'm going to show you how to teach a gun. And she's like, okay. And then she's doing it, and she's like, pow, 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 pow. Like, she already knew what the fuck she was doing. She already shot a gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the first time I shot a gun, I was like, Dad!
Yeah, that's
what
true.
What do I do? Like, you don't act like that.
So she obviously knew how.
Yeah, which is like, what was she hiding? You know what I mean? Right? That's like another thing that makes you think, what is Grace? What is Grace? Fuck is she? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because when I saw that, I was like, that's not the first time this bitch shot a gun.
No,
Hope
definitely
you know that.
not. So, the dad, Richard Armitage is his real name.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Captain America.
Oh.
That's probably what I know him from.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Not me.
And he was also in Alice Through the Looking Glass. He was King Oleron.
Oh, interesting.
So that's definitely where we know him from. We saw him from.
That makes
I
sense.
definitely recognized him from something. And of course, the son is from It, and he's also in Knives Out.
We know him.
Yeah, we know who he is.
Is that the little girl's first movie, probably?
Maybe. Well, no, her first movie was A Haunting in 2016, but I don't really know her from anything else.
Yeah, A Haunting.
I didn't recognize her from anything.
She did a good job, though.
Yeah, she was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Grace was in The Good Doctor. She was in Jack and Diane, Magic Mike. She was in Mad Max, The House That Jack Built, Riverdale, The Lodge, like we just saw, The Guilty. Have you seen The Guilty?
No.
That's a really good movie. And she's in The Terminal List, which was Chris Pratt. It was pretty recent, but...
So she's pretty popular.
Yeah, she's apparently popular. I didn't recognize her, though.
I didn't either. Maybe she looks different in those other movies.
I guess, maybe, but, it was just
good.
weird that... She was
actress,
good, yeah. It was just weird that I was, not thinking,
yeah.
I knew her. I didn't know her from anything.
She's pretty basic looking.
I guess, but, usually an actor's or actress's face, pops out, oh, yeah, I know her from this movie, but
she
no,
did
it was
really
just...
good job of being a fucking crazy lady.
Yeah, seriously. Also, the sea monkeys kind of had a foreshadowing effect too, because as they were playing in the dollhouse, you could see the two sea monkeys in there.
Yeah. In
that tiny fishbowl, but just like Grace, the monkeys were at they were being controlled by Mia and Aiden, but they also were always being watched.
Yeah.
The sea monkeys were always in sight of Mia. Grace was always in sight of the kids, so it was nothing stays alive in the lodge or the dollhouse, so poor little Grady too.
Grady deserved better.
Yeah. Aiden is definitely a sociopath in this movie.
Yeah.
Tricks his sister by saying we're
gonna do this.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna screw with Grace because why?
Yeah.
She's not an awful person,
No,
she was weird, but
definitely
she wasn't a bad
though.
person.
I'm sure that's what people say about me.
Yep, I do all the time.
Yep, I figured.
But no, Grace wasn't an awful person. She was just a little strange.
Odd.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you want to add?
Nope, that's all I got.
Well, next week we are doing...
Terrifier.
The Terrifier.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom, yeah. And,
I want to poke my eyeballs out while I watch
Cicely
that.
hates clowns. That's why she's so upset about having to watch this movie.
My dad already made me watch it. It's awful. It's so scary. I was like, all right, never watch it again. And then we let Mom pick the next movie, and she's like, The Terrifier?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Now, I like the movie. It's a good movie. It's just she hates clowns.
Yep.
Everything about them, so this is not a good movie for her. So you'll definitely want to join in and hear what Cicely thinks about this movie.
Can't wait.
So excited, huh?
Can't wait.
Before signing off, this is just me talking because we forgot to rate the movie. I gave it a 7.5 and Cicely gave it a 7. I just wanted to add that before signing off because we forgot, and we hope you all had a wonderful Christmas, and we want to thank you for listening again. Now back to the outro. All right, we'll catch you next week with Terrifier. That's the end of this episode, so we'll see you later.
Catch you later.